At this time, I'm going to call on Commissioner Johnson, if you would, to have our invocation and pledge to the flag of our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today to ask for your guidance as we try to make the best decision for the citizens of Greene County. Lord, I ask you to bless our county. Lord, be with our county employees and protect them as they do a great job for this county. Lord, I ask you to bless our country and our leaders. Lord, I ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible. Second. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion signify so by saying aye.
Aye. 7 parcels of land on Burnett Road for industrial use.
You said August 4th?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
10 a.m.
That being the case, I indeed will call for a public hearing on August the 4th, 2025 at 10 o'clock in the morning here at this operations center for the purpose of discussing the zoning of 7 parcels over on Burnett Road.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Okay, my next item for your attention this morning is an appointment or reappointment for the LCC Board of Trustees. If you recall, there was an appointment made to finish a term, an unexpired term, earlier in the spring, and that was for the remainder of this fiscal year. There is now an appointment or reappointment needed for a 1-year term to be on the LCC Board of Trustees at this time. There's been one applicant, Mr. Brandon Johnson. Will be the wish of the board.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I will abstain from voting in this matter as a conflict of interest.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move to appoint Brandon Johnson to serve on the LCC Board of Trustees for a 1-year term.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I have a question. When was this advertised?
This has been advertised on our website as a board that will be opening. We keep a running calendar, sir. You think of the actual directions into that part of the website. I believe you can see boards and board availability, and you can see when these are to be refilled. So this has been known about. I think we even talked about it at the last appointment for this position from the unexpired term.
When we appointed him a couple of months ago to this board,
Yes.
did we receive an application at that time? Did we receive an application at that time?
Yes, sir. We actually did, and we
So
received.
since they applied off the website knowing that this board for the expire at this time, I mean they applied early. Shouldn't their application also be included in this appointment since this is the one they originally applied for?
This is a new appointment. The original appointment was to finish an unexpired term.
But they applied early, no one did for them coming up now. So their application should be in this thing.
Is it not included?
I don't have one application. I have Brandon. It's on. There was 2 other applications when we were first appointed them. They applied for this board, no one is coming up at this time.
No.
So there should be 2 more applications in there.
Oh, I think I understand what you're saying. You're saying there should be 2 more applications. Okay.
To view.
For you to view.
With Brandon, but I kind of feel like these applications should be in there because that's they applied months ago, back in January or whenever. They knew this board would come up. They applied at that time, knowing it would come up then. So the application should be in here with it.
I understand. Forgive me. My apologies.
Get a second on that.
So we do have a motion. We do have a second. Do we call the question?
Yes.
Those in favor of the motion signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion is carried.
Thank you, sir. And we'll be more careful of that. Thank you. Next item for your attention this morning is a resolution opposing Senate Bill 205. At our most recent meeting, June 16th, it was requested from the Board of Commissioners to prepare a resolution opposed Senate Bill 205. We tried to include some information regarding Senate Bill 205 in your packet. And we put together what I think is a nice resolution that does oppose, as requested, Senate Bill 205. I can read it for you. I hope you've had a chance to read it. If you'd like,
Go ahead and read it.
you want to read it?
Yeah.
Resolution in opposition to North Carolina Senate Bill 205. Whereas local governments in North Carolina have long held the authority and responsibility to make decisions that best reflect the needs and values of their residents and communities. And whereas North Carolina Senate Bill 205 proposes to limit local government authority to enact certain regulations, transfer decision-making power from local governments to state-level authorities, or interfere with local electoral processes or governance. And whereas the proposed legislation represents a significant overreach by the state into matters traditionally and effectively managed at the local level. And whereas Senate Bill 205 threatens to undermine the principles of local control, community input, and democratic governance by restricting the ability of locally elected officials to act in the best interests of their constituents. And whereas the passage of Senate Bill 205 would set a concerning precedent that may further erode the autonomy and responsiveness of municipal and county governments across North Carolina. And whereas many local governments, advocacy organizations, and community members across the state have expressed strong opposition to this legislation and its implications for local democracy. Now therefore be it resolved that the Greene County Board of Commissioners hereby strongly oppose North Carolina Senate Bill 205. And be it further resolved that the Greene County Board of Commissioners urges members of the North Carolina General Assembly to reject Senate Bill 205 and any legislation that seeks to preempt local authority or diminish the ability of communities to govern themselves. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be transmitted to members of the North Carolina General Assembly, the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, the North Carolina League of Municipalities, and other relevant stakeholders to communicate Greene County's firm opposition to Senate Bill 205. Adopted this 30th day of June, 2025.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion?
Appreciate the Cliff Notes version
Yes, sir.
of, in fact, I didn't even also focus on the zone, but I picked up on the swimming pool thing till I read that, so thank you for that.
Got it. Any no further discussion? Those in favor of the motion signify so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion is carried.
Thank you, sir. Next item for your attention this morning is awarding construction for US 13 waterline relocation NCDOT 5833. So there's an award for construction needed for waterline relocation at Wheelbarrow Road. Okay. Took a couple different RFP bid openings at the complex to get two bidders. Ralph Hodge Construction was the low bidder. There's a resolution attached that would award construction and amend the capital project budget ordinance to the winning bidder. If there are no-
That's for the Greene County line to Rodeo Barrow Road, right?
Yes,
It's going past Rodeo back
it would be for our water system.
to hook up to ours.
Yes, yes.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
A motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion signify so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion is carried.
Thank you. Our next item for your attention this afternoon is the drawdown on the lottery funds. I request permission to draw down the lottery funds to supplement county funding towards the intermediate school's annual debt payment. Board of Education drawdown was approved at their most recent meeting, I believe, June 23rd.
Right.
So if there are no questions, I would ask for approval to accomplish this task, sir.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion signify so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion is carried.
Thank you. My last item for your attention this morning is the end-of-year budget amendment. I request formally the approval of the 24-25 EO, or end-of-year budget amendment. This review and submission is staff's final opportunity to bring the budget into alignment with general statutes. Are there any questions? If none, I would ask for approval of the amendment.
Move to approve the budget amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Is there any reason you didn't provide explanation like I asked you to 2 weeks ago?
Yes, absolutely. There is perfectly great explanation because this is the budget is a living document, and to try and prepare an end of year budget amendment would be very, very challenging 2 weeks prior to the end of a fiscal year. It can be done. It's just going to be even further, it's going to look even further out of place than it probably already does to the untrained eye. If you recall, I was taught and have since I've been here had a end of June budget meeting to approve this end of year budget amendment in an attempt to bring us into line wherever we may have fallen out to align with state statute. So this goes in line with something that I was taught to do and something that we have done for the decade prior. And I think we've had a pretty good success rate with this.
Explain,
What?
explain every one of them, all day.
You want me to explain them?
Absolutely, that's what I asked you to provide explanation for.
Okay. Well, I'll give you for the jail inmate fund, that is a new fund that we are supposed to hold the monies that we are holding in custody for inmates. That didn't have a fund before, but we created it. So you see the original amount is 0, and the increase for the expenditure and the revenue is $130,000. That way you can guarantee 130 and negative 130, it balances out to 0, reconciles. So the DSS client fund initially was budgeted at $37,397, which I can only assume was last year's year-end balance. So that client fund has grown. So to maintain compliance with state statute, we added $95,000 to the expense and the revenue. So there again, you have your balance. Okay. In general government, our initial budget was $263,456. Because an expenditure was higher than the budget expenditure, we added $20,000 to it to increase that expenditure to come into compliance with general statute.
Why
Yeah.
was this special for budget?
I didn't bring the backup paperwork with me, but I'm just telling you the legal reason that we're doing it.
That's correct.
Thank you, sir. In court, there was a original budget for $30,550 in a line item, and to bring it into compliance with state statute, $5,000 was added to the expenditures, bringing that total to $8,550.
Why would spend $5,000 added? And that's why I wonder. I wonder why we keep adding stuff.
Okay, I don't have that.
That's why I asked for explanation.
Okay. Well, I don't have that explanation for the
Well,
budget,
we'll
but I
vote
know
for that then. If we don't have that explanation. Mr. Sherman, you can call the vote. I will not be voting for this by explanation of why we're spending all this money.
I will call the question. Those in favor of the vote on the year-end budget amendment, signify so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay.
Thank you, sir.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. Vote is carried 4-1.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, if I may, I would like to introduce Malcolm Dawson. He was recently selected as our new recreation director. He was in the interim role, but he'll now be in the full-time role. We had an interview panel a week or two ago, and Malcolm did a phenomenal job, and the panel thought that he would lead and direct our department the best moving forward. And I just wanted to formally introduce you all to him and allow you to congratulate him and maybe give some words of wisdom or some words of advice.
Congratulations, Malcolm.
Congratulations,
You
Mr.
really know
Dawson.
what you got yourself into? Okay.
Yes, sir.
You'll do a good job, I know you will.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You prepared to give a speech?
I just want to say thank you, Kyle. Thank commissioners, thank everybody that was involved, and how me as the director. I want to say this is a dream come true job for me. I'm gonna work my butt off the rest of the time to make recreation great in Greene County.
Good job.
So I guess,
Thank you.
so I guess that GC, the cap stands for Green, on your cap stands for Greene County and good character.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Congratulations. Mr. County Attorney, do you have any nuggets of wisdom today?
No such nuggets today.
All righty. I will mention that the God and Country Sunday at Mount Calvary Church there in Hookerton is going to be on the 13th of July, 10:30 in the morning. It's been a tradition recent years, and y'all try to attend. The 13th at 10:30 in the morning at Mount Calvary. Any other commissioner reports or recommendations other than saying, be careful and have a great 4th of July?
I got some stuff to say.
Okay?
The other night, I was sitting in the chair watching TV, and I was in WRL, the news channel. They were talking about the animal control up there in Nassau County got fined. And the next day, I think the animal control director got fired after that. So I decided to look to see what the inspector was being saying about animal control. This has been a while since I've looked at it. And as you know, maybe about a year and a half ago, we had some issues with animal control, and it was a big discussion. We made some changes. So when I finally decided to go online and see what the inspector says, I want to find this out. This was about a month and a half ago. It said random inspection performed today. The facility was clean and odor-free. The animals appear to be happy, healthy, and well cared for. Any articles found were addressed in this report, which I didn't see many articles. The staff here continues to do a great job. So I want to read that out and let the staff know we appreciate what they're doing. They're doing a good job, and they came a long way since about a year and a half ago. As you also know, for about a year and a half now, I've been asking about the tax discount or early payment discount. And I believe in the past it was 1 percentage point to be paid in the first month after the billing, and 0.5% the second month, or whatever. He knows what I can do. He's also mentioned it a couple of times. And I'm going to make a motion today to restore the type early payment discount to the original levels. If anybody wants to lower it, we can discuss it, but the motion is on the table that we authorize citizens early payment discount. I think it's a huge benefit for our county. I've actually ran our budget through several programs to see if we can afford it. And I'm personally comfortable with 1% for both months. And, we get these, I think it's going to be more of a benefit than it will be a cost thing. Now, for our citizens early payment discount, I think it's a huge benefit for our county. I've actually ran our budget through several programs to see if we can afford it. And I'm personally comfortable with 1% for both months. And, we get these, I think it's going to be more of a benefit than it will be a cost thing. Right? I'm sorry, we can afford it.
What did you say now?
We need some numbers on that.
So I did ask Stephanie about this.
I asked for numbers a year and a half ago. Where's the numbers at? You have to bring your own numbers. I can't. I've asked him for numbers about a year ago. Bob Taylor's will be in there sitting in his office. He's asked about more information about it. It's time to vote. It's time to put it to rest.
Explain some more to say.
So in the past, there had been an early payment clause, a discount
Discount for
for paying your taxes early. I asked Stephanie about it a while back, and she gave a reasoning that it wasn't used when it was in place by that many people where it was worth having the program in place. I can ask that she give you a presentation on that at our July 21st meeting, and you can hear it from her mouth if that's what you prefer. But the reason that it was not brought back was because I heard from the department head that it wasn't taken advantage of. But it's your county. I mean, if that's what you would like.
I ran it, but I put it budget through the program.
Back in the old days, back in the old Gerald Heath days, before Kyle,
Okay.
probably before Trey might not even remember Gerald Heath, I don't know. Robert Heath's dad,
Right.
right? Isn't that right?
Gerald Heath, Mr. Gerald Heath.
It was a 2% if you paid for
Sometime in
August
July.
31st.
Yeah.
July 3rd or August 31st.
During July.
Or 1% if you paid by the following month.
Right, yeah.
Sometimes the bill didn't go out till after the first deadline had passed.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I don't know if that was on purpose to, not to be able to give you that discount or not, because
I
I
remember
question
it.
that. But yes, I and 3 or 4 other friends of mine utilize that every time we got it, period. I would think, it'd be easier to budget for a property tax cut than it would be able to budget for a discount, because you never know what the discount's going to be.
I would
I'm
agree.
not opposing what Derek is saying. I've just always thought of relief on property tax in some form or fashion. I've said that.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have heard me say that before, but I think it would be easier to budget if you knew what you're going into the ballgame for, because 97% of people could walk in one day and want 2%, then you had budgeted for that.
Yeah.
I know that's not gonna happen. But, yes, I mean, I'll give you a rundown on that. Ray, that's what.
Would you all like a presentation? I'd be glad to ask her to give you one. Or, I can never prepare it and I can give it to you. Whatever you prefer.
Technically, we do not have a second on the motion.
So it fails.
And lacking a second, how about we just table this concept and have a presentation on the 21st of July?
Sure, I'll make note.
Okay, 21st of July.
And maybe Kyle could go back maybe to last year that it was offered, which I have no idea how long ago that was.
Sure.
That would be a good,
Or we could be able to get it out before the tax bill
Example.
goes in effect.
No.
So then, if we're not gonna get it out before the tax bill, we need to vote now. I ran the budget through it, I ran out agendas through it and everything, we can afford it, 1%.
We have already approved a budget.
That's right.
For the year.
That's right, we ain't changed it.
Can you legally do something like this?
You can, but it would change your revenues, which would have an adverse effect
Oh, yeah.
on the expenditures, If this were a planned thing, we could budget for it more appropriately. It's kind of being sprung. And forgive me if I didn't give you the reasoning that was given to me timelier, but just trying to tell you what I was told. But I'd be happy to get the presentation for you, and if this is something you'd like to pursue in the future, I'd be glad to try and, grease those skids.
I think we need a presentation on the 21st. Y'all okay with that?
I'm fine with it. Because you really don't know how many people are gonna do it. And Bobby might do it, and so will his friend do it. Or how many, you gonna have 20 more, 25, 50, 100?
Or 20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like Bobby, I run a little tax rate a little bit instead of doing that. At least you can go by your tax rate.
you know what the numbers would definitely be if you
That's
did
right.
the tax rate versus.
And that would make the
discount.
budgeting-
Yeah, I'm all for both of them.
I understand. I understand.
Everybody knows that, but I understand in the budget world it'd be easier to budget for a definite number than.
We could just give you with a little more certainty what you may receive. That's all. But I have a note made. I'd be glad to get that for you.
Have a presentation at our next meeting.
Yes, sir.
Any other commissioner comments, recommendations?
Move to adjourn, Mr.
Have a
Chairman.
motion, do I have a second? Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor of the motion signify so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, the motion is carried. We are adjourned.